So, welcome back everyone. Into this lecture, we are looking into JavaScript. What is JavaScript and how can we use JavaScript? JavaScript is a very interesting programming language, which all programming language depends on. Doesn't matter the kind of programming language you are using, you need JavaScript in one way or the other to run your code. From Python to PHP to Node to Ruby to C++, every one of them need JavaScript. So as a developer, you need JavaScript as a basic knowledge before you can become a good developer. And you must have the knowledge of JavaScript before you be able to do anything. So if you are taking this lecture and you haven't done the basic course, we already have them available. You can look at our HTML files and our CSS or Bootstraps. So you learn all those ones first before coming to JavaScript, so that it's going to make your JavaScript knowledge to be very, very solid because you already have the basic knowledge of JavaScript. So now let's dive in, guys. So what is JavaScript? JavaScript is like the brain of your web development. If HTML is the skeletal body and CSS is the skin on that skeletal body, why JavaScript is going to serve as the brain that makes the body function. So without the brain, the skeletal body parts and the flesh will just be there for nothing. But you need the brain to make both the skeletal part and the skin work perfectly and work together. So that is the function of JavaScript. So JavaScript serves as the brain of your web development. So it gives your project, your files, your website, your web application, it gives them some dynamic behavior. By running some animation, running a game in your browser and doing so many things. So in this lecture, we are looking at the introduction part of it. We are not going to dive in too much inside of it. So we're going to look at the little introduction part. So now, going back to our project, we already have a file here. So we're going to use the view file, which is the index.html here. That's what we're going to use in this lecture. And now, let's load this file now in the browser. Let's see what it's going to give us in the browser. Let's see what it will give us in the browser. Now, good. So here now, we have hello world here. Now, we want to use JavaScript to make this hello world a little bit dynamic by changing the color when something happens. Like we want to give it a condition. Okay, the condition is change the color from black to another color when a button is clicked. Or change the color from black to anything when a button is clicked. Or change the size to another size when something happens. So let's dive into it, guys. So let's go back to our text editor. So in this, so we're going to use, there are various methods we can use, but we start from the beginning. So the first thing we're going to do here now, we're going to create a button tag. Give it a type, and the type should be type button. So in the type, we're going to give it an onClick function. And inside this onClick function, this is where we're going to perform our JavaScript. So here now we're going to call document.getElement by ID. We are getting this element by ID. And what is the ID? The ID is what we have here. This hello is the ID, so give it the ID. And what do we want to do? We want to change the color first. We want to change the color from black to another color. So we go give it a style dot color. So now we'll now specify the color. What color should we use? Let's use a green. So let's say green. Let's use a green. So good. So now let's close our button. Let's give it a title. Change say change color, and let's go back to our browser again. Let's see what will happen. Now we have the button here. If we click this button now, we are expecting this black text to change to green. So let's try it, guys. Oh, good, it changed. It's now green. I refresh again, it's now black. I press the button again, it's now green. Okay, now let's do something else again to it. Let's go back to our text editor. So now we are back to our text editor now. So now I have a question now. Now we want to add another behavior, another attribute to this text here. How can we do that? We want to add another attribute to this text. For instance, maybe we want to change the font size. So how can we do that? Well, if you're like me at the beginning, I will just say, it's very easy. Just give it a comma and specify what you want to do again. For instance, give it a comma and say, okay, font size, blah, 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 and give it like that. That's not how it is, guys. That's not how it is. If you are doing it like that, you are not technically correct. You won't be that technically correct. Okay? So now, to do this now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give it a semicolon, and we're going to call this document dot get element by ID from the beginning again. Then we add whatever attribute we want to give to it again. That's how we'll be able to do that, adding two attributes to one particular text at the same time. There's other method we can use. We're going to use that, but before we get there, let's try this first, so that we'll be able to select the one that is okay with us. So let's say document dot get element by ID, and don't forget our ID. Our ID is hello. So dot style dot font size. And guys, don't forget, when you are using a style or anything that is of two words, font size, font family, the second text there, maybe size or family, the first letter must be in a camel case. Don't forget, must be in a camel case. Must be in capital letter, so that you will get a perfect result you desire. So now, let's say 50 pixel. Now we have it 50 pixel here. 50 pixel. So let's check our project from the browser. So let's load it. Let's click the button again. Great. So here we have it again. We have it here. It's working, guys. It's working perfectly. So that is how you kickstart JavaScript. So in the next lecture, we dive into the second method of how to do this. So, and it's going to be very great. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. See you guys in the next lecture.